But you're very welcome. Hit the wee buttons if you so choose. Now, this week it was announced with much fanfare that our international airport, only named us because you'd need a flight to get to the damn place, well, they're investing 100 million in an upgrade. It'll take 5 years. And it's going to include a new security building. Do you remember, even though we were promised new security years and years ago? Anyway, it don't matter there. And you won't have to remove your liquids anymore going through security, something most airports already have. And we're getting a new solar farm. That's wonderful. Now, I commented that the international airport was a shithole, is a shithole, and will remain a shithole. That it was a tourist trap with overpriced food and parking, dated buildings, and no integrated rail connection into Belfast. I pointed out, honestly, that I, like most people, now prefer to drive to the real airport in Dublin. Now, I felt this way due to personal experiences I've had travelling from the international over the last few years. I remember I was flying out and asked at one of the top restaurants if they had a gluten-free option. I was told they could give me chicken and rice. I thought, bit basic, but fair enough. Give me the chicken and rice. Half an hour later, I was handed a plate on which was sticky rice and a boiled, do you hear me? Boiled chicken breast. The smell was enough to make you bulk. Then in March this year, we were taken off a cancelled flight to Paris at midnight due to snow. Now, fair enough, that's nothing to do with the airport. It's not their fault. We were assured by EasyJet that they'd have staff in the terminal once we disembarked to direct us onward. You're ahead of me here, aren't you? You're definitely ahead of me. You know that was bollocks. You know that was a lie. So with nobody there to tell us where to go, all 140 of us, trips through the airport towards the front door to get the terminal buses or whatever to retrieve our cars. There, we were met by a phalanx of around 10 security staff dressed in black like bouncers, pushing us back, barking that we couldn't exit, and we had to go back the way we came, right? I went up to the chap shouting loudest, I knew he was in charge, and I inquired, how were we to get to our cars? He said that security was contracted by the airport, it was nothing to do with him, and he was only following his instructions. I'm still trying to work out what this meant, you understand? Eventually somebody came down from upstairs, opened one of the doors, and let us out the front. What I do know, if that's an example of the lack of communication between the airport and their security, God help us if there is ever a real emergency. Of course, none of this mattered. Online, none of this mattered. The debate went in a completely different direction. 170 comments and counting, nothing to do with the actual airport or whatever. And they were nauseingly predictable. I made the mistake of choosing Dublin.
And therefore, it was a clear indication I was a rabid Fenian.
Oh yeah, off we went. The ball was over the wall. One comment said,
I don't know about anybody else, but I think going abroad to get an airport to then fly further abroad is a bit mad. I prefer to use a local airport and then fly abroad.
Because going to Dublin is going abroad. Another person was even more helpful. Yeah, he suggested,
when you're down there, right? See, when you're down there, why don't you stay? It'll save you driving back and forward.
I rarely respond to such poor grammar, but on this occasion, I just couldn't resist. Replying that, don't be silly. I don't drive. I employ half-wits like you to drive for me. Now toddle off and collect my bags. It kept going. As you can expect, I vainly tried to stop the avalanche of abuse by saying, and I meant it, if Glasgow Airport was as close to Belfast as Dublin and reachable by car, which hopefully Ian Jr. will get the tunnel built, and it will be, then I'd go to Glasgow Airport. I followed this up by naively inquiring if everything here had to be reduced to take and pro it. Them are nothings. Of course, you all know the answer. Be it the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, whether jams in or out of the fridge,
it can all be reduced to lemons and nothings.
So. In conclusion, if you think the international airport is wonderful, I'm happy for you. You're one of those rare people who like being fed overpriced and edible food, paying a fortune for parking, whilst being able to find the toilets by smell alone. You're thrilled to exit the airport with your feet sticking to a manky carpet which hasn't been changed in decades.
But you know, at least it may be shite, but at least it's local shite.
That's all, folks.